Yeah, I mean, to be evaluated like this.
Pretty nice, I believe they do it in this first one, 25 degrees on something, switch back in. Let's take a look at that list is different.
breakdown for the entire second half. I know you guys are thrilled. We got a 14-11 game. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more scoring during this second half, and a lot more plays to look at too. Not saying that y'all are, that we need to crack our whistles, but we'll see how it goes. 25 is holding his eye. The only reason that he's holding his eye is because he ran into his own player on that rebounding play. Quinn, don't get ahead of the ball. When you're in the trail, make sure we want to stay a step or two behind the player with the ball. Anything can happen, and we'll get put into a bad situation with our positioning on that. Guys, I think we're doing a really good job of staying in the game by rotating. I like that call, Quinn. Only thing is, I don't know if you were able to see that. We're at 18-20. I don't know if you were able to see through that play and see that the defender had his arm down. Defender had his arm down and extended and pushed out. That's a tough call to get from the lead. I'd like to have seen that come from the C, because they probably would have had a better angle, or even from the, can't have it from the trail because that was a long distance call from the trail. 17-22. Brad, drive to the basket. You call the push. I think it might have been a hit up top, but we'll look at it and see. Just make sure that whatever we call, we should report. So if the coach questions like what did he do, then we can explain them, and then when he looks at it on tape, it matches what we're reporting. Clint, don't be so quick to rotate out when you're in the C and you had a good look at the play. There's no need to, and you're on the sideline. There's no need to pop out, even though Brad had come over to rotate and become the lead on your side, and you were going to eventually go to trail, but there was no need for you to pop out. Could probably have a foul there. We had 50, only player in red, and he was surrounded by people in blue, and he went down to the ground. And then we have that reaching call, which is similar to the same thing on that rebounding call. That was a good pickup, Quint, but Brad, that probably should have came from your area. red. That's probably like 15-21. So we'll look at that. We'll look at those 2 play sequence right there and see if we potentially could have gotten a whistle for red. 15-57. Easy call. I like that double whistle was passed off to the person in the correct, who had the primary coverage on that, even though it was in transition. It's a good double whistle. Up high, so that's good that the trail took that play. I like that from coming from you, Quint, and I also like, Brad, that she had a whistle on it too, just to justify that that it was the correct call. All right, Brad, this is 12-10. This is the classic patient whistle play. I'm not quite sure if the player that made the spin move got fouled, but we took away a scoring opportunity when we could have just held our whistle and seen how the play was going to develop. That does happen sometimes when we're in a game where we call a lot of fouls, and we just want to be quick on the whistle. But we haven't called a lot of fouls in this game. It hasn't been very physical, so we could have held our whistle on that. Same thing, another classic example. So we've had 2 back-to-back questionable foul calls where we should have just been patient, held our whistle, and seen how the play was going to develop. know we have to show concern for the player. We got the foul call correct, but we don't need to go in and assist the player with anything. Our job is that we're not first aid responders when we're officiating. We're administering, the rules of the game. Not saying that it could be perceived in a different way. Not that it was. I think this guy just landed wrong on his ankle and stuff. So just to be aware of that for future times that you work. Question is, what if that player wasn't able to shoot his free throws? What would the team option be? What could the coach do with that? What could the visiting coach do with that play? Do they have an opinion on anything? Quentin, that was a good pickup on that violation at 9:23. 22 was in, and then he stepped out. So that's definitely a dead ball violation. So they lose the opportunity to take that second free throw. I think that was a good no call right there at 9 minutes. Quinn, 13 went up, but he definitely embellished that contact. Let's look at how 44 got down to the ground on that rebounding action at 8:52. That's a foul there by 50. He just shoved 10 out of the way to get that pass. And then we grant him a timeout. We're going to look at that. That's between 8:42 and we called the timeout. Clock is still running. It stopped at 8:31. It should have been between 8:40, probably 8:42 and 8:36 because we let some additional time run off the clock. I'm not quite sure if he'd had possession and we were able to recognize that timeout. He must have been saying timeout and had possession of the ball. But if he didn't have possession of the ball, we're giving him a timeout. We probably should just put the ball on the sideline and give it back to Blue. But he definitely did push 10 out of the way and definitely gain an advantage. And that was probably why he was able to get the ball and call timeout, because he definitely bumped 10 out of the way. Quentin, do we have a foul on this play at 8:20? Trying to figure out what 44 did incorrectly, because 50 got the ball in the middle lane. He initiated the contact, and I think by him initiating contact made 44 buckle down, and then 50 went up again. We also want to look and see if any, I'm not quite sure if Quinn would have seen this, but if anybody else saw the shuffle of the feet by 50. Now, Brad, do we have a foul on that, on the reach in drive to the basket? Are we putting him on the line? We're putting him on the line with 2 shots. When we look at this on tape, 7-17. We'll see if he does get slapped, or if he just goes to the basket and just takes a bad shot and stuff. I think that was some of the reactions from the Howard players and stuff. So We're under 7 minutes to go in this game, and it's a 3-point game. It's gonna get really tight. I don't know, 6'10", trying to figure out what question mark on that. We're gonna rewind and look at the tape on that and try to figure out. I was looking at something different, so I just want to know what happened. That's a good call, Quint. That was a definite reach in. Quinn, good call on that passing crash. Player had nowhere to go. Defensive player was there waiting on him. Took it through and through.
I don't think she really wanted to call it. I knew about the
All right, nice double whistle. Quint, I like how you were coming up and saw through the entire play. You weren't stationary in that C position. You came up and you took it. And I also like how the two of you made eye contact on that play when you had the double whistle. Good job, Quint, signaling that we're in the bonus on both ends. The next foul committed by the red team is going to put blue in the bonus, and red is already in the bonus. All right, let's look at between the little chicken fight that we had between 22 and 50 right after that shot was taken. That might turn into a little bit of an issue. All right, Quint, 2 minutes. You called a player control foul on 22. Let's look and see. Let's look at the start of that play. 2:10. The screen that was set, and then the contact between the two players, and then your positioning on that play too. Let's see if we saw the same thing that we called that's going to validate or discredit your foul call on the play. Quinn, I think that was a good sale on the timeout. You notice that at least somebody, coach or a player, was asking for a timeout. We could hear it all the way up here, and they still did have possession of the ball, even though that player was in a trap. And then when you blew the whistle, yeah, the ball was thrown away, but you have to recognize the timeout and then find the ball and then grant the timeout. So. I think we had a foul there at 1:21. Brad, I think you got straight lined on that play. There was a reach in when 15 was going to the basket. Guys, I just want to let you know that was a very, very long 60-second timeout. That was almost a full. It was almost a full media timeout that we just took. And the easiest way to not let timeouts go longer than they should is if we're not huddled together talking about particular things. If we do talk, we need to keep it short and to the point, and then we get to our positions. Let's look at that screen at 38 seconds. It's an off-the-ball screen. It may or may not have had an effect on the play. All right, we're going to look at that drive to the basket by 15 and see if we could have had a hand check before the ball was knocked away, or if there was any contact. Let's look at everybody's positioning on that play and see if there was any way that we could have seen through the play or not, or if it was just a clean knock away of the ball. All right, so this is what we should have done when the timeout was initially called. Quint, you just went to the table. When the timeout was initially called, we should have went to the table and got our information and stuff instead of getting it after, because I'm pretty sure we took a little bit more time than we should have during our timeout. I think that was a good no call on that. The defenders did not do anything. They kept their hands straight up. They didn't try to squeeze the player when he tried to split them. So that was a good no call on that. Not trying to bail out that jump shooter. Oh, that's a great toss, Quinn. I like that toss. Went straight up, got to a good height. Both players had an opportunity to get the tap. That's a good way to start an overtime period. $50 just missed a bunny. Missed another bunny. 1:27. We're under 2 minutes. The clock should be stopped. And we're about to shoot. We put the ball in, and we're going to waste about, looks like 15 seconds on this play, and we should have stopped the clock for the foul. Let's look at when we look at that play and see if it was a offensive foul or a block by the defense. We're going to look at everybody's positioning on that play. Says the first 2 minutes. I got a clarification from my color commentator, Mr. Rob Kelly from the University of West Florida, that I was incorrect about the last foul call that we had with about a 117, 120 on the clock, and we let it run. Actually, the clock should have been running, because in overtime, the clock doesn't stop until the last minute of that overtime period. So you guys were correct on that, and I apologize. And we're gonna have double overtime. Can't ask for a better shot right there from 40. All right, so what is our discussion going to be during this second overtime? We should be clarifying that our foul count is correct. We also should be, clarifying our timeout situation too. And then we're just gonna, other than that, we're just gonna toss the ball up and play again. I'm just going to let you know, guys, that since we're going into a double overtime period, I'm pretty sure that for an overtime period and subsequent overtime periods, we should toss the ball up. Regardless of, we had the arrow pointing the incorrect way too. So, and we didn't toss the ball up to start the second overtime. We should have tossed the ball up to start the second overtime. I'm trying to figure out why we gave the ball to blue. So when we're gonna definitely talk about this. I don't know if we'll go straight to overtime, but we'll definitely we'll definitely get to this part of the game and talk about this. All right, now we're back playing. That's a big shot right there. So are we counting that as a 3-point basket, or are we counting it as a tip in? I don't think we can count that as a tip in, because that definitely would have been basket interference. When 23 took the shot, he was, I'm sorry, 40. He was 23. I'm sorry, he was definitely outside the 3-point area when he took that shot. Great player control foul there, Brad. There was nowhere that player was going to go. Went right through the secondary defender. That's a great tap there by 45. Brad, on this play right here, we need to work on our angles, getting down a little bit deeper on the sideline so we can referee that whole entire sequence there. We were a little bit we didn't move from our trail position, which we were about a step inside from the half court line. Oh, Quint, we should have got a foul there. Right at about 20, probably about 26. In the end of game situations when you know a team needs to foul, let's go ahead and get the first foul. You know, we're doing both teams a disservice when we don't get the first foul. One, you know, the defense is doing that for, you know, of course for clock management situations. And then obviously the offense, you know, wants that foul, especially if they could turn into a turnover or anything like that. lose timeout at 17.1 on the clock. Let's look and see how much time we take to administer this timeout. All three of us don't need to be up at the table. Rule of thumb with this: when we do have timeouts and we're going to meet, it's best to meet over where we're putting the ball in play, except for if we're putting the ball in play over by the team benches. But we're putting the ball in on the baseline because it was after the ball had went out of bounds. After the ball had went out of bounds. So, I'm sorry, we're putting the ball in on the sideline because red hit a free throw and then blue brought it up to the front court and they called the timeout. So, all right, that is a good place to meet right there outside in front of the team benches and stuff. All right, guys, great game, great double overtime game. Just think about this. So now that second overtime, we put red at two disadvantages by not doing a toss to start the second half, and also on that 3-point shot that we ruled a 2-point shot. If it was a tip in, I'm not quite sure. We didn't have basket interference. If it wasn't a tip in, then it was definitely a 3-point shot.